lost in the Lone Star land, with boots on my feet and dreams in my hand. A little sassy but a whole lot of grace. You'll see that fire when you look in my face. I'm a Texas girl with a heart so wide, family and friends always by my side. From the crack of dawn to the stars at night, I keep it real, keep my soul burning bright. Barbecue smoke, Friday night lights, cheering for the Astros under Texas skies. A little bit stubborn, a whole lot of charm. This big old heart will keep you warm. I'm a Texas girl with a heart so wide, family and friends always by my side. From the crack of dawn to the stars at night, I keep it real, keep my soul burning bright. Barbecue smoke, Friday night lights, cheering for the Astros under Texas skies. A little bit stubborn, a whole lot of charm. This big old heart will keep you warm. I'm a Texas girl with a heart so wide, family and friends always by my side. From the crack of dawn to the stars at night, I keep it real, keep my soul burning bright. From the blue bonnet fields to the city streets, every step I take feels like home to me. With a little sass and a lot of pride, this Texas girl's got nothing to hide. I'm a Texas girl with a heart so wide, family and friends always by my side. From the crack of dawn to the stars at night, I keep it real, keep my soul burning bright.
Gummy shoe prints, laid them down the street. Chocolate wrappers hiding secrets sweet. They don't miss a beat, they've got a knack. With licorice ropes pulling answers back. Twist the wrapper to reveal the truth. A sticky web spun by a candy sloop. No sour lies can escape the grip. These lollipops always crack the whip.
Sebastian, sweet boy, where have you gone? The sun sets low, but we keep marching on. The wind whispers your name soft through the pines, a melody aching in these hearts of mine. Roads are endless, the nights are cold, but your story's a light we'll never let go. Where are you, sweet boy Sebastian? We're searching the hills, the rivers, the plains. You deserve better, oh, you deserve better. And your army is fighting through heartache and pain. Your laughter once rang like bells through the air. Now silence just lingers, it's more than we can bear. We carry your memory, a flag in our hands, through shadows and valleys, through shifting sands. The roads are endless, the nights are cold, but your story's a light we'll never let go. Where are you, sweet boy Sebastian? We're searching the hills, the rivers, the plains. You deserve better. Oh, you deserve better. And your army is fighting through heartache and pain. Your laughter once rang through heartache and pain.
Well, hello, my friends. How are y'all doing? Oh, my goodness. I've missed y'all so much. Thank you all so much for being here with us today. I appreciate it. I'm so happy to see y'all. So sorry that I've been out for so long, but good golly, guys, I got really sick. And I am on my second round of antibiotics. Got 2 more days left. I'm on my third round of steroids, and 2 shots is what it took to get me past all this. And my voice is not the greatest right now, but hey, we're going to do this. But I'm so glad that y'all are here with me. Thank you so much. Hello, Blue Eyes. How are you doing? Hey, DJ. Halo Bliss, how are you? Keely, how are you, beautiful? True Crime and Chaos, hello to you. Oh, the title. Yeah, we'll talk about that title here in just a few minutes. Man, it's hard to read, isn't it? Let's see here. Miss Peggy, hello to you. Miss Kelly, good to have you. SI, how you doing? Daisy Dukes, hello, beautiful. I'm out. Hello to you. Hey, Pat. Good to see you. And Grammy 8. So good to have everybody. Angel of Light. Hello. Miss Retha, how are you doing? So good to see you. Pooh Bear. Hello. Elaine, always good to have you with us. And Jacqueline, hello. Hey, Cow Gal. And Donna, how are you? Sorry, guys, I'll probably be clearing my throat a lot. Pink Warrior, hello to you. And Cinderella, so good to have y'all. Welcome, everybody. Anybody in the bushes listening? Hello to y'all. Thank you for being here. And I'm so appreciative of everybody being here. Cow says, I was surprised to see the title. I've been thinking he maybe was sent away to school, and at 18, maybe he would come back. Well, I ran across a few things before I got too sick to come back on. Hey, Bobby. Good to have you with us. Hello, hello. But I came across a few things, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to play this. We have to look at this situation as a possibility, to the words that Christopher Proudfoot himself said. And so it's taken me a while, but we're doing this. We're finally going to get to it. But I just couldn't. That fever hit me, and I was out for a while. I was miserable. And so, anyways, I missed y'all so much. I didn't even pay attention to YouTube at all. And I just slept a lot, took my medicine, tried to stay away from the grandbabies. It was Saturday. My grandson came down with fever, but today his fever is gone. So hopefully he bounced back pretty quick. And what started out as feeling like I had a sinus infection, and the doctor even said, "It looks like you've got a sinus infection. It looks to be pretty wicked." The second doctor said that. And I said, "Okay." He said, "So let's do that because you tested negative for flu, negative for COVID, and we're going to treat this." I said, "Okay." So he gave me some elixir to take, some antibiotics, and then a shot of steroids and a shot of antibiotics. And about the fifth day, I started getting worse. And it all started hanging in my chest. And I'm like, what in the world is going on? Oh, not quite sure what I had, but whatever it is going around, I know the state of Texas is being slammed with it. And some doctors are saying now there may be a strain of COVID that's unidentifiable. So I guess if they don't know what it is, it's COVID. I don't know. Oh, I don't know. But I tell you what, I felt pretty rough. Felt pretty rough. But I feel so much better today. My throat does not hurt, but I sound like, I got the worst. It was not pneumonia, Daniel. It stayed in the upper bronchial tube area. So, anyways, anyways, it was rough. And I thought a couple of days, well, I'm just going to go ahead and go live. And then I'd fall asleep. And I just never made it. So, I'm glad to be back up amongst the living. Sunday was our family night for White Christmas. Everybody, we were going to my daughter's, but they came here. They all sat around the living room, and I sat behind them in the kitchen because I didn't want to get the kiddos sick. But at least I kind of was there to participate a little bit. But oh no, I'm out to. Oh no, you've got it now. That's horrible. Prayers for you. Prayers for anyone who gets this unknown virus. And, my doctor said he doesn't even know what exactly to prescribe because it's unknown. And so this last round of the steroids really kicked in good for me and started getting me over it. My fever went away. Now it's just a sound horrible, but it is what it is. Oh, I'm telling you, antibiotics and steroids. I'm kind of worried about my face puffing out so much because when I take steroids too much, too close, my face will get real puffy. I don't want to have a big round face. Oh, Daisy, y'all, I'm going to tell y'all my secrets to all these little backgrounds I've been doing, except for the real pretty. There's two real pretty elegant settings. But other than those two, there is a coloring app on my tablet. And when my mind gets to racing too much and I got to settle down for the night and slow down, I'll go to that coloring app. And there was one just for Christmas. And this is one of the ones I did. And I wish you could see the whole full picture because it's all the way down to the bottom of his beard and all the way to the top of his hat. But I thought it was so cute. Kelly says, Justin's doctor called me at 4:30. They're sending him to a wound care doctor. Oh, goodness. Y'all, please keep Miss Kelly's husband in your prayers. He has some wounds that are not healing well. We need to have him healed and not let any type of infection set in. Goodness. The flu is bad this year. and flu can have norovirus symptoms, sick stomach, diarrhea. Yeah, that's what I'm hearing too, Cool Gamer. Kelly, I'll definitely be praying for Justin for sure. Hey, Cecilia. Good to have you. Welcome, everybody. Thank you all for being here. I do appreciate y'all. Hi, Linda. Cool Gamer. Let's see if I missed anybody else. Good deal. I hope I didn't miss you. If I missed you, I'm sorry, but hello. Thank y'all for being here. Well, I don't know if most of y'all have heard or have not heard, but I'm going to share this with you. This picture, little Melody Buzzard. Her body was found. She went missing in Southern California. Her body was found in Utah, and her mother has been arrested. She has been booked for unaliving her child. Look at that sweet face. Hi, Cheryl, Victoria. I just don't understand how any person can look at a face so precious and just feel the need to take their life. I'm telling you, it's just crazy. And it's happening more and more and more that we hear of. But I just wanted to show her precious little face. I didn't cover this case too much because I didn't get all the full details. Yeah, they did find her little body, and her mother has been charged. And so, rest in peace, sweet baby girl. We will fight to see your justice. People are sick. No, Daniel, that her name is Melody Buzzard. Her name is Melody Buzzard. So she went missing just about 3 months ago. And so at least she's been found. At least she has been found. So I wanted to share her picture and send our condolences for her. Anyways, aloha, my friend. How are you doing? I hope you're doing good. Hey, Sheila. Y'all come on in. Thanks for being here. I have missed everybody so much. We're going to be doing some more lives just to let everybody know. If you don't have anything going on tomorrow night, I will be live. With all the sickness, my son and his family have gone to her grandmother's house. Was I talking about Jay for All? No, Victoria. We was talking about Melody Buzzard and her mother unalived her and has been charged. So I'll be doing with the sickness. My daughter, the grandson's just now getting over it and everything. We're gonna limit it, and then Saturday we'll probably gather up and have a family day. Give everybody time to get over all this mess. And so I will be here Christmas Eve tomorrow night. We'll watch the Santa tracker. We'll hang out. We'll talk about some fun stuff. And since we didn't get to do our Christmas trivia, we'll do that tomorrow. And then Christmas Day, we'll do a live as well during the day. All right, Daniel. And so if y'all wait around till the end of the show, we're going to close it out with our Lollipop Family Christmas video for those who have sent me things to add into that. We're going to watch that. I tried to put it on the vertical view so that it took away from it a lot, but I just didn't want to give anybody any room to be able to identify anything. Hey, TJ. Yeah, Maui. The Justin is Kelly East, her husband. Yes, that's who the Justin I was talking about. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I forgot we talked about her Justin. Sorry, Victoria. I got confused. So, anyways, I know I've missed you all too. I got yours in there, Daniel, so you better wait around till the end and we'll play it at the very end today. I'll probably play it again tomorrow. So, okay, so little Melody Buzzard, if you are just coming in, didn't hear, her little body was found. She is no longer alive, and her mother is being charged with her murder. So sad. You know, that's the worst part about what we do is those cases that turn out so bad. It just breaks your heart because we all want a happy ending. That's every one of our number one goals are to have happy endings. And at no time do any of us ever want to think that a parent should, at any time be the person responsible for ending their child's life. It's just not right. Just not right. And yeah, I'm out. You're exactly right. If there's a happy ending, it's within 48 hours, usually. You're right. After that time, the odds are stacked against them. There was a time when on Hatfields and McCoy's not too long ago, they played a video, Christopher Proudfoot, back in October. And his words were, "Hey, Holly, so good to see you." Christopher Proudfoot, Sebastian Rogers' stepfather. His words were, "There's only two choices. We're down to only two choices. He's either lying in the woods somewhere, no longer alive, or he'll come home when he's 18 years old, healthy, but will need mental help." What a strange thing to say. I mean, if you've listened to any of the other sides, they've also mentioned something about when he might be 18, he may come back. Yes, Holly, he was so casual about it. And like I said, right before I got really sick, that's what I think too. I'm out. I think he knows the truth. I think him and Katie both know the truth and they slip up. But right before I got sick, I was sent these videos. And thank you to TJ for sending them to me because I was like, oh my gosh. I've always been a channel that, hey, Gigi, but I've always been a channel where we think outside the box as much as oh, I didn't mean for the goat. Well, the goat wanted to say Merry Christmas, I guess. But they think, we want to think outside the box and all the possibilities. So let's read this, and we're fixing to talk outside the box here. I'm not going to read all this because my voice is just about ready to go all the way, but everybody has the right to their opinion. We're not here for hate or anything. And please do not use this content for anything bad and negative. And so, with our little disclosure here, let's talk. Oh, thank you, Holly. I was telling them this is a coloring page, the little color by number page that I did on my tablet one night when I was just trying to deflate. And I come across this one. He was so cute. And we heard Christopher Proudfoot say those words. He'll come home when he's 18. He'll be okay, but he will need mental help. It was the most disturbing words I think I've ever heard. My number one question when I first heard it was, how does he know he's going to need mental help? And why? It's very disturbing when you stop and think about it, for a stepfather to say, oh, when he's 18, he'll come back, but he's going to need mental help. What happened to this child over this time span of 3 years at that point that's going to cause him to need mental help? Hey, Lisa. Yeah, SI. Yeah. And his friend Fernandez has said the same. Really? See, it's really disturbing the people close to him have said those words. Oh, before I go too much further, I did hear that Lady Freedom had found out for sure that Seclusion Works has passed away. I forgot about that. If y'all haven't heard that, I wanted to let y'all know that's what I'm hearing. And guys, Seclusion knows the truth right now, if that is true. And that was the thing that she always continued to say, I will know the truth when I get to heaven. She found out first. Yeah, it is sad. It is. And so I wanted everybody to know, if you hadn't heard it or anything, yes, Holly, life is so precious. Her and Sebastian may be together right now. She may be telling him all about what we're doing. Oh, Donna, Seclusion Works has passed away. Hey, Laura. Oh, thank you, Laura. I am feeling better. I don't sound great, but I don't have a sore throat, so that's good. But yeah, seclusion has passed away, and that's what I'm hearing. And one of her last times she was with us, she said, when I get to heaven, I'm going to find out what happened to Sebastian. And then she would get to be with her wife as well. Sad for us here on earth, but what a glorious reunion in heaven they're having. And so I just wanted to pass that on as well. Yeah, she knows now, doesn't she? She sure does. So whether Sebastian is in heaven, whether he is still here on this earth, we have to look at all angles, all possibilities. And I want to play, there's 3 videos. They're not very long, and I hope you stay with us through all of it, because they're very, very informative, and their experiences are crazy. And we have to be able to think outside the box at possibilities that could have happened. And guys, this is a real possibility of something along this lines that we're fixing to listen to with these 3 different stories of what could have happened to Sebastian. I'm not quite 100% sold on it, but at the same time, to have hope. Oh, Blue Eyes, I love that. Seclusion will now be our lollipop angel. Yes, she will. She will. I just know it. I just know it. She will help us out. Yeah, she's happy now. Yeah, she's not hurting anymore. She got to see her wife. And she knows the truth about Sebastian. Man, you can always say lucky her, huh? All right, I'm going to put our copyright banner. I'm not sure when it happened. I knew it was coming because they were about to put her on event not too long back. So it wasn't going to be long after that, we knew. Okay, so here we're going to play a little music in the background as well. I've already got closed captions on for y'all to be able to read. And the link to this channel, these 3 videos are in the same channel, is in the description of this video. And so definitely check out that channel. Yeah, she said she was terminal. I always hear they never want to come back here. Yeah. Yeah, it's been probably, about a month ago, I think. Yeah. I'm out. I love you, and I'm so sorry. I understand. I understand. And if anybody sees Jen in Georgia, tell her we love her too. Hey, beautiful Lizzie Blue Eyes. Hello to you and Merry Christmas. Yeah. Oh, I wouldn't want to leave heaven and come back to this nasty earth either. I really wouldn't. But yeah, this is Untold Stories, I think is the name of the channel. And so let's get to listening to this. And guys, think outside the box because this could be a very real possibility of what happened to Sebastian. Let's get going here.
I woke up in the middle of the night to two people in my room. They said, "We can do this the easy way or the hard way." And I started screaming because I thought that I was getting kidnapped. They take me out and they don't tell me, like, we get to the airport. They don't tell me where we're going. They have a plane ticket all ready for me. And they said, "Your mom paid for this." My name's Nell.
Did you hear those words? Your mom paid for this. Your mom paid to have us come in and kidnap you in the middle of the night, take you off, put you on a plane. Yeah, it's crazy. And just an FYI, let me see.
This.
This Unfiltered Stories is this channel. All credit goes to Unfiltered Stories. Here we go.
My name's Nell Blackwell, and I went knocking on the doors of my abusers. I was born in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and my parents were state workers. I was a daddy's girl, so my dad and I were really close. He taught me how to play softball. He would take me to bookstores and go and have coffee and things like that with him. By 1999, my parents separated. When they separated, I was 14, about to be 15, and I was left with my mom. And my mom and I were just not very close. So I started sneaking out. Started sneaking out of the house and just being a bit of a rebel. And so when I started experimenting with cigarettes and weed and all that, she just did not know what to do. By 14 years old, she put me in my first mental institution. January of 2001, I had not seen my dad in 6 months. I knew that my dad had an issue with abuse. It was very well known. That night, we took pictures together. And that was the first time that we had taken pictures together. So I walked in there and his chair had gone back against the mantle. And so I was like, "Look at you, I was like, "Look at you, you flipped over." But he was silent. So I was like, "Let me help you." And so I pushed down on the recliner and he didn't try to move or anything like that. I stood there for about, I don't know, it must have been seconds, but it felt like minutes because, time gets distorted whenever there's something wrong. And so I went over to the phone and I was like, "Dad, if you don't get up, I'm calling 911. And so I got 1843 dialed because I was going to call my mom. And I hung up and I called 911. And I was just a kid. And so when they said, 911, what's your emergency? I said, "I think my dad's dead." So it must have been just a couple of minutes later, the police started coming in. And I was just beating him. And I was like, "Look, you've got the cops here. Get up, get up." And I expected for him to wake up. So eventually the police had to carry me out. And so I took off running and they were trying to get him out of the chair. And I just jumped on it and was just desperate for him to wake up because I got my dad back for one day, only to lose him again forever. My dad tried really hard to protect me because he knew that mom would send me away. I quit going to school. I was not doing anything that I was supposed to do. Just, there was not an understanding of PTSD at the time. This is 2001. So 7 months later, on September 1st of 2001, I woke up in the middle of the night to two people in my room. They said, "We can do this the easy way or the hard way." And I started screaming because I thought that I was getting kidnapped. And so I'm screaming for mom, I'm screaming for my brother, and nobody's coming. They take me out and they don't tell me, we get to the airport. They don't tell me where we're going. They have a plane ticket already for me. And they said, your mom paid for this. I went to Round Rock, Texas, to a program called On Track, which is a wilderness program. These places, if you even step out of line for a second, they will restrain children. And not in a way that is even safe, because a year after I left, this place ended up killing a kid. Also, they have your parents write you a letter. It's called an impact letter of all of the ways that you have hurt them. I will never forget that my impact letter was 14 pages long.
An impact letter saying how horrible you were to them, the parents. Her letter was 14 pages long. Could you imagine if Christopher Proudfoot was to write Sebastian an impact letter? How many pages could that have been? I mean, even his mother. It blows my mind. Blows my mind. Let's keep listening.
About how much my mom hated me. In October, sometime, I had been at Laurel Ridge for well over a month. The same people who came to kidnap me out of my bed came back to Laurel Ridge to pick me up, to take me to the Family Foundation School in Hancock, New York. I was excited to get to this place, okay, because like it wasn't a mental institution, it was a co-ed boarding school. And like, who hasn't seen cool things about, you know, a boy and girl boarding school in New York? When I get there, first of all, there are these like really creepy statues that are around. It's like, and these kids look like robots. At an intake for a new student, they take the new student into the locker room, and they get, so you have 2 students there and 1 staff, and you get fully searched, like strip searched. They put lice shampoo in your hair. Like, even if you don't have lice, you get deloused. And they go through all of your stuff, and anything that identifies a person, anything that identified me as a person, they threw it out. So they assign you a buddy when you first get there. This is the person who is responsible for telling you all the rules, for making sure that you follow all of the rules. You cannot be anywhere alone. So after my intake, I go to lunch, and I go to family 7, which is my family. It's about 12 to 15 girls, about 30 boys, 25 to 30 boys. And the family leaders there are Susan Runge, and at the time it was her husband, Bob Runge, but it would come to be Jan Cheripko. When I get to lunch, I remember tapping a boy and asking him to pass the ketchup. And it looked like I just done the worst thing in the world by touching him. And I was like, he goes, "You can't touch me." And I was like, "Don't flatter yourself. I just want the ketchup." Well, then they knock on the table. So I hear this knock on the table, and it's like, they were like, "Hey, you know, it's time to get topics started." Oh, what's a freaking table topic? What's the topic? They call this kid up to the table. And it's a boy. I'd never seen him before in my life. This is the first time I've ever seen this kid. They start saying, "Hey, so-and-so, I heard you broke the commitment. It came to my attention that you broke the commitment last night." Without context, I had no idea what the commitment was. So they start talking about how this is the however number of times he's broken the commitment in the last, he needs to take responsibility for it. He needs to take his inventory. When the staff gets done talking, hands just go up in the air. And it's a bunch of kids who want to tell this kid that he's creepy, he's skeevy, he's going to be a rapist, like just these awful things they were saying to this child. I was like, what is going on? So
Could you imagine being the focus? Hey, Victoria. No, I missed y'all too. Thank you all for being here, by the way. Everybody coming in, and hello to everybody. I'm so sorry. I was so sick. I just couldn't even talk. And so I couldn't get on here. But I missed y'all. And I'm going to muddle my way through it today. But my voice is all cracking. Yes, Holly, mind games. Could you imagine being a child? Having everybody talk so negative and bad about you, Jenny Machete, hello. But my goodness, that would cause you to 100% not believe in anything about you who you thought you were. And for your parents to send you here with an impact letter about how you have impacted their lives so badly, it's enough to mess up anybody. Yeah, Lisa, betrayal by your own parents. Oh, could you imagine? They were probably so confused. It's just, it's crazy to me how these stories are so very horribly sad. But I'm glad they're speaking out because, guys, this is real. This is real. I wonder if their parents said that they were runaways. Hey, Neuro. Yeah. It's just, it's crazy. Let's keep listening, guys. And welcome to everybody that's coming in. Thank y'all for being here.
And then they said, so at the conclusion of all of this, after he has just gotten everything handed to him unfairly, they say, you're going in the corner. When somebody's put in the corner, you actually have to sit and face the corner. During my time at the Family Foundation School, I was in the corner for 14 months, 14 entire months. The abuse that happened at that facility, it was in every way that you can think. Now, I personally did not go through sexual abuse. I know several people who did. To that in just a minute. So Paul Gear was our choral director. Paul, everybody knew that Paul was a monster. So Family 7 is here on the 3rd floor. Family 6 was right underneath. There would be times in Family 7 where Susan would literally send us down the stairs to see if Paul's family was okay. He would talk about having a cheeseburger in one hand and masturbating in the other. Literally telling children this story. I got on Paul's good side because I could sing. So I stayed on Paul's good side for the duration of my time there, but I knew what he was capable of. So I went down to Family 2. Family 2 was run by Mike Lasico and Roxy Lasico. And Mike and Roxy were known to be savage. I will never forget the day that I left. I had made a vow with myself that if Mike Lasico were to treat me the same way that I had seen him treat these other kids, I was going to walk. Because the only way that you could leave there is if you were 18 years old, you could leave. The only thing was, it's 7 miles to the nearest town. And it's in the middle of nowhere. And so whenever I left, I will never forget, like, this staff member, Pam, she tried to stop me. And I was like, no way. I can't take it one more minute. I've got to go. I didn't know what to do with the nightmares. It would be that Mike was chasing me in my dreams and I could not get away from it, and that everybody was disappointed in me. And then, of course I was still having dreams about my dad, like, all the time. So they said that I was never going to be anything, that I was going to be alone for the rest of my life. So what did I do? If this is what I'm supposed to be anyway, and this is what they had drilled into me, and I believe them, that's what I'm gonna do. And that's what I did. That was a lot of alcohol, a lot of trying to escape, a lot of trying to make people accept me. And I was way too young and way too traumatized and alone. I was alone. A little while after I got back, I'd started babysitting this little girl, and I ended up meeting her dad. And he told me that he had a vasectomy and all these things, and like, because we had started dating. So you can imagine how surprised I was whenever, like, 3 weeks later, I was pregnant. In fact, he had not had a vasectomy, obviously. And also was a very abusive, horrible man who I ended up marrying. I ended up losing the first baby. I was 19 years old. I was just a baby myself. I would go on and try to numb everything. I wanted a child so bad. I wanted a person that I was going to be there no matter what. I was never going to be the kind of mother that that would leave their child alone. And I ended up pregnant, and I was 22 years old at the time. So at 27 weeks pregnant, I got beaten really badly in a field by my then boyfriend. He was her father. He took my keys, threw them into the field where I couldn't find them. I remember seeing headlights coming my way because all I had done was he was somewhere, and I went to go pick him up, and as soon as I woke him up, he lost it on me. And so the next day after that happened, I had to go into my doctor's appointment, and they sent me straight to labor and delivery because I had barely any amniotic fluid. Your amniotic fluid is supposed to be at a 10. Mine was at a 1.4. So Claire was born at 26 weeks gestation, and she was 1 pound, 5 ounces. They came to me and said the very first day that she was born, they said that they needed to get me to the NICU because they had just accidentally blown her lung by putting too much pressure on it with the ventilator, which is of course breathing for her. And she came home after 5 months, and at the time was only a little over 4 pounds. This kid is the absolute light of my life. She changed everything. The very second that he turned his abuse to her was the second that I walked out the door and never looked back.
Can you imagine the life this girl has led after getting out of that place and trying to just forget all about what happened to her by her own parents? And what she went through. And God gave her that precious baby to help her get past all of this and to see there is light at the end of the tunnel.
One thing, you hit on me, you talk to me however you want to, but her, yep, man, and I left. That was that. So in 2000,
kudos to this mom. Too bad Sebastian's story wasn't more like this.
2014, I was 2 years sober, and I meet this guy, and he is so cute and like so sweet. He's got this super deep voice, and he is a musician. He just kind of blazes into my life. It was genuinely one of those things where the very first time that we met, I knew that I was going to marry him. And I told people that I was going to marry him. I was like, dude, I don't know what it is, but I'm going to marry that man. I'm going to marry that man. Like, he is just, oh my God. September 2nd of 2018, a New York Times article dropped where the Family Foundation School was on the front page of the New York Times. There were staff members talking in it. There were students talking. An unbelievable number of alumni that I went to the family school with who are dead.
Did you hear that? An unbelievable amount of people that I went to school with are no longer alive. The things that happen in these schools, guys, are not good. We're listening to some that are the lucky ones. They're the lucky ones. PJ, look at our PJ. Been a member for 8 months. PJ, how exciting! Thank you so much, PJ, for being a member with us for so long. And Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah, everybody. Thank you, PJ. That is so sweet of you. We love you, and we're so excited to have you as part of our family for so long. Okay, and welcome everybody that's coming in. I appreciate y'all so much. Let's finish out this story because it's almost over. But her words, all them people that she went to school with were unalived. Oh, Cece, I am pretty sure none of them are accredited, you know?
You would not believe, like, more of my peers are dead than my mom's. My mom is almost 70 years old. So it captures the attention of the New York Times. I took to Facebook and I asked staff members. I was like, you have children. How could you justify treating us like this? Like, why did you stay there? How did you go to sleep at night knowing what y'all were doing? Like, I was asking them the hard questions publicly, and I tagged all of them. Some of them actually answered. Some of them took responsibility. Some of them, like Colleen, decided to call. She was calling kids names, calling alumni names. Like, you're just a brat. Get over it. Blah blah blah. And Colleen was a really bad staff member. And so she's sitting there acting like we're freaking 16 again. Step to me. Say that to my face now, girlfriend. You know, like, so she's sitting there being a little keyboard hero. And this ain't, you know, I ain't the one for that. For the most part, staff members have been silent about this, probably because a lot of times they do get eaten alive, you know, if they do say something publicly about it. I've started to get DMs from staff members apologizing to me. And for me, from some staff members, that was what I wanted. I'd still been talking to students. I had still been talking to staff members. At this point, I've spoken to over 300, 400 people that have to do with the family school. She goes, Paul Gear is in the back of a cop car. He's about to get indicted. So she was like, do not say anything. Like, don't say anything on social media until I tell you, until the indictment hits. The indictment hit that afternoon. He was indicted for only the students that he took across state lines to abuse. That's all that he can be held accountable for at this point. After the indictment follows a detention hearing. So there's a detention hearing to figure out whether or not he's going to be kept in jail to wait for his trial. So we go to the detention hearing. There are 50 people in the courtroom, and I mean, like, and 95% of them are family school students who came all the way from the Keys in Florida to, like, I came from Louisiana, and it was really crazy to be in that courtroom because, like, some of my peers, they would stand up. There were three boys, or 3 men. There were 3 men who stood up and they started chanting, shame, shame, shame. And then another one that was like, how's it feel to be on the other side of this, Paul? You know, making the comments like Paul would make to them, and he deserved every bit of it. He didn't even look in our direction. Like,
Oh, they don't like it when they get called out, do they? Oh, thank you so much for being a member for 13 months. Merry Christmas, Lolly. Love you. I love you, Bo. You're such a sweet friend. Thank you for being a member. And Holly, thank you as well, darling. I appreciate you so much for your gift, your generosity. That was so sweet. I appreciate it. Okay, here we go.
Karma didn't just show up. She showed up with a freaking steel bat. So Paul is given, so after Judge D'Agostino says everything that she's going to say about the Geneva Convention and all the things, she says that he has 27 years and 3 months in prison. The little version of me, well, I was sobbing the whole freaking time, you know, the whole time, because I could not believe that a federal court had heard us, but that judge made it about every student that ever attended the Family Foundation School. It was one of the most healing things that I have done in all of this. I do want people to know that they can turn their pain into power, that it is in their hands to turn it into power. It is possible. You can do it. You do not have to be miserable or live in the trauma. Healing is definitely a thing.
Healing is definitely a thing. Guys, remember those words, because should Sebastian come home when he's 18, we need to remind him that healing is definitely a thing. And we will all support him while he heals. But the words of Christopher Proudfoot, he'll come home when he's 18, but will need mental health. We're going to the next one here. Let's see here. Oh, hang on. Let me go back.
So they wrapped me in a tarp, and they literally wrapped me in the tarp completely so that I couldn't move with my arms by my side. That's how I had to sleep for the first few nights. And I was like, well, what if I have to go to the bathroom? And they said, well, you're in a tarp, so you can just be in the tarp.
They wrapped her in a tarp. Guys, this one's a little more disturbing. Let's hear her story. Because once again, this girl was taken in the dark of night.
My childhood and growing up was very rough, I think, for me. Before I got sent away to treatment, I struggled a lot with mental health issues. I didn't have a super close relationship with either of my parents, and that started at a super young age, like probably first or second grade. It really shaped who I was in a negative way. When I got sent away to treatment, I had no idea it was coming. There's no hints, nothing. And so I just thought it was going to be like a normal school morning. I was going to go to school, but instead I was woken up at 4 a.m. by two strangers wearing all black. They were very big. They were almost like military style. And my mom was in my room crying and just telling me, they're here to take you to get help. And that's all she said.
Two men, all dressed in black. Two men in the middle of the night, 4 a.m. Very well could have been 3 a.m. Man, Katie could have handed him over into someone's car that night. Maybe she said, you're going to have to go with someone while they're sitting at Texas Roadhouse. We don't know. We don't know. Which state was your friend's grandson at? Kind of right there. I think it was just right outside of the Pennsylvania area right there. I'll have to go back and look to make sure I have the right facility in my mind right now. But it was I think it was up there right at the very corner of Pennsylvania. So here we go. Let's listen some more, okay?
And I remember the transporters kept telling her, like, don't say anything else. Just like, be quiet. Don't tell her anything else. We need to leave right now. And I just kept asking questions like, where are you taking me? Am I going to be back later today? I don't understand what's happening. They were like, well, we're not going to tell you any of that. You just need to come with us. They pulled me into the car, shut the door, and they started driving. It was very scary. So after the 3-hour car ride, they took me to what they call the base. It's a warehouse just in the middle of the city. They walked me in, and I remember like all the staff that I passed in there were just smiling at me, and it just made it so eerie almost, because I'm like, I just went through this really traumatic experience. Why are you all smiling at me like this is something I should be excited for? It just made me feel really weird. And I just remember seeing this like really gross brown couch, and I remember it so clearly. And there was like a couple more chairs in front of it, and there was all these adults in there that I didn't know. And the transporters were like, here you go, here she is. And they left. You need to take off all your clothes, and we need to make sure you don't have anything. And I just kept saying, no, I'm not doing that. I don't know you. So they made me take off all my clothes. They made me turn around and squat and cough. And then they gave me clothes to put on, which was just like a plain t-shirt, rain pants. They sat me on this brown couch, and there was like adults on either side of me. There was adults on chairs in front of me. And that's when they explained to me what was happening. They said, okay, you're in wilderness therapy. And I immediately just started crying. I remember.
Wilderness therapy, guys. Wilderness therapy. Wilderness therapy. Pretty damn scary. And yeah, Jenny, it pisses me off too that this is legal. This is happening in our country here where we live. I know. Exactly, Jenny. Exactly. Why would she even have something stored up in there? She was sleeping. She didn't know this was happening. It is very disturbing. But when you hear the words that Christopher Proudfoot says, how about you, A? You go listen to Hatfield and McCoy's interview with Christopher Proudfoot. You'll hear it very plainly. We've all heard it. It was real. It's his voice. Go listen for yourself. But we have to think, when Chris says those words,
We've heard he might come, maybe when he's 18, he might walk in the front door. Chris comes out and says he's either lying in the woods somewhere or he will come home when he's 18. Be okay, but will need mental help. You have to look outside the box. And sadly, this is what we see when we go outside that box.
For them trying to comfort me and like putting their hand on my back, and I was like, don't touch me right now. Like, I don't want you guys anywhere near me. During this moment when I was crying, they took a picture of me. Now we have a picture saved for your first day. And I still have that picture. And then they gave me like a backpack. They gave me some snacks and stuff. They're like, you're gonna have to make this last, so just like put it in your backpack. And they put me in a truck and they drove me out to the desert, which took hours. There's no way I can run. It was hours away by car from town. And it was in the middle of the desert. Everything looked exactly the same. And I remember they dropped me off and with my group, which was called G4, and they walked me up and they're like, all right, here's Danielle. We're gonna head out now. I was with a bunch of new people now that I didn't know. And there was about like maybe 4 or 5 girls there already. They like grabbed my hand and they put me by a tree by myself, which was far away from the group. And they said, you're gonna sit here for a couple days and think about why you're here. You're not allowed to talk to anybody. Nobody's allowed to talk to you. You're just gonna sit here and think about why you were sent here. I was crying for 3 days straight. I mean, I wasn't sitting at that tree. I mean, at night, I would be under a tarp and everything sleeping, but they completely ignored me. I felt like it was a dream. It did not feel real to me at all. I was still like, okay, I'm gonna wake up soon and this is not gonna be real, because it was just so strange. It was beyond anything I could have ever thought was possible. I had to like just listen to all the girls talking in the group while being by myself. And they were so afraid that I would run, because my mom told me that I was a running risk. At night, would not let me have my own sleeping arrangements yet. So they wrapped me in a tarp. They laid a tarp out and they laid me down and they literally wrapped me in the tarp completely so that I couldn't move with my arms by my side. And they put me in the staff's, like under the staff's tarp, and I had a staff laying on either side of me on top of the tarp so that I couldn't move. That's how I had to sleep for the first few nights. And I said, well, what if I have to go to the bathroom? And they said, well, you're in a tarp, so you can just be in a tarp. There are teenagers in these programs right now having to go through what I went through. It's awful to think about, because I can still vividly remember all of the feelings I felt in both of these places. And that never goes away.
That never goes away. Did you hear her words there? That never goes away. Never goes away. That's a memory this girl will have for the rest of her life. It's sad. Oh, Daisy, you should be feeling all kinds of better now with Bluey Band-Aids and 2 shots from Dr. Scarlett. Yeah. Y'all are good. Yeah, we know. No, Brenda Sue. No, not that I've heard. I have not heard that. I know his sister is married to her ex-husband's brother. That's what I know. Whether it's changed or anything's different, I haven't heard that. But yeah, these are things we have to look at as to why Sebastian would come home but need mental health. It's sad, because it really happens. Well, there we go, folks.
Places, they don't help in any way possible. They only add more trauma onto kids that are already traumatized from things that have happened to them in their lives. My contact with my mom was limited. There was no phone calls or anything, but we were allowed 1 letter a week that we could send to members of our family. And I did start sending letters to my dad. At that point, I hadn't talked to him in years. We just had a lot of issues. Me and my stepmom, his wife, did not get along at all. So I was writing letters to my mom, my dad, and my stepmom throughout wilderness. And we were actually required to write a letter. So even if we didn't feel like it, we still had to. I remember there was one letter I wrote where I was just not feeling like writing my parents that week. I just wasn't up to it. And I just wrote like a sentence, and I got in huge trouble for just writing a sentence. And I just remember being like, I don't really feel like writing right now. Like, I'm just not in a good mood. And they made me sit there until like I wrote an entire letter. You could have phone calls with your parents.
Isn't that something? If you're not in the mood to write a letter, you're going to get in trouble because you have to write a letter. That is how disturbing these places are. It's crazy. It's crazy. But this, like I said, it's happening. It is happening. That's right. Where is Sebastian? That hashtag, where is Sebastian, is huge. That is the key. Where is he? Somebody knows, because that child did not leave his home on his own like his mother and stepfather have told everybody. Friends, if y'all listen to law enforcement and the words that they say, go back and read the flyers, the missing posters, the missing flyers. It says he disappeared around the area of Stafford Court. It never mentions he disappeared from his home. Did he even make it home? They can't prove he made it home. They've never confirmed. Law enforcement has never, ever confirmed Sebastian made it home that night. And all I keep remembering, and this is just an opinion I have, but looking at that video at Texas Roadhouse, and Katie is telling him something, using her hands. Hey, Kiki. And he shakes his head no several times. And if you read his lips, it's as if I can actually hear him and see him say, I can't. Yeah, you're right, Gigi. They said there's no evidence he left that home. There's nothing. Katie and Chris are the ones that told us he ran away from that home. Katie and Chris are the ones that saying FBI has verified it was him taking out the trash by the way he ran and his mannerisms that he had. How did FBI know that was him running and the way he ran? I wonder. How did they know what he ran like? How can they verify that? If that was the last sighting of Sebastian Rogers, we would have seen it. They would have put that out there. Oh yeah, 400 cameras at the school. Let's just say, I bet you one of those cameras caught something. Just an opinion. I don't know, guys, why y'all's messages keep getting hidden. Nobody's putting anything bad out there. I don't know why they're being held for review. It's crazy. But yeah, these are possibilities, guys.
It was 15 minutes a week, but it was monitored. So a staff would be sitting right next to you, literally with their ear, like on the other side of the phone, just making sure you weren't talking bad about the program. Like if we even say that we want to go home, they think that's talking bad about the program. So like if I'm on the phone with my mom and I say, I really don't like it here, like please bring me home early, I will get points taken away, I will get my privileges taken away. They would tell my mom like, oh no, everything's fine here, she's just being manipulative, like don't listen to anything she's saying. And our parents believe it because I mean they're like, yeah, teenagers do lie. and they're going to believe the adults over the teenagers. I dreaded the phone calls, to be honest, because they felt so fake. I had to put on this fake, happy, like, tone of voice, and I hated it. The second place I was sent to, the residential treatment center, we had point cards. That was introduced to me on day 1, and they said, this is what you're going to.
After we're through with these videos, y'all remind me about t-shirts, okay? Y'all remind me, because we're going to talk about that. Don't let me forget.
I carry around with you every single day, all day, and it had these 4 target skills on them. So that's what the family teachers, which is what the staff were called, were family teachers, that's what they taught to us. So if we were given negative or positive points, it would be under the category of one of those target skills, which was, like, one of them for level 1 was accepting feedback. Like, so you'd have to, if someone was giving you feedback, you would just have to accept it without argument. So if I did that, if I accepted feedback without an argument and just was like, okay, yeah, thanks for giving me feedback, then the family teacher would come in and be like, oh, I loved how you accepted this person's feedback. I'm going to give you 250 points for, you know, being a kind friend and accepting their feedback or something like that. But then I could also get 2,000 negatives if I were to argue even the slightest, or just be like, oh, but they'd be like, oh, no, you didn't accept their feedback. I'm going to give you 2,000 negatives. And if you didn't meet a certain amount of points by the end of the day, once you like added and subtracted all these positive and negatives from the whole day, you wouldn't get your privileges. So you wouldn't get to talk to any of the girls. You wouldn't get to have night snack. You wouldn't get to have any sort of free time whatsoever. You would just sit in the schoolroom, which was in the house, and write essays. Most of us would be super hungry by the end of the night because we wouldn't get the extra snack. And food was already portioned out for us. We didn't get any extra anything. You couldn't just like go to the kitchen and grab a snack when you wanted to. So there was 4 levels. There was daily, which was the first level. Then there was weekly 1, weekly 2, and achievement. And you weren't allowed to leave the program until you got to that last level of achievement. And I only got to weekly 2, and my mom pulled me out 5 months early because it was just getting too expensive for her. I feel like a lot of interactions there were so fake because everybody was trying to get points or avoid negative points. You never knew when you were going to get in trouble, which made everyone on edge all the time. We had to deep clean the house multiple times a day, every day. And if we were like wiping the kitchen counter or something and there was one spot that looked like it hadn't been wiped and it wasn't like shining or something, it was immediately 2,000 negative points. But we only had 15 minutes to deep clean whatever area we were assigned for that day. So how are we supposed to perfect it in less than 15 minutes, but then also be able to get to where we're supposed to go? It made no sense. It was like they were setting us up to fail. These staff.
Did you hear her words there? They were setting us up to fail. These schools are not set up to help these kids. They're not set up to help them learn how to be better people. Her words, she experienced it. They are set up to make us fail. They're being paid by these parents of all these kids to cause their child to have mental issues.
Enjoyed punishing us and giving us these negatives. I mean, there were so many times that the staff members would give me negative points and they would be smiling. They would put the blame on us for things that we had done in our life, and they would bring it back and be like, oh, do you remember when you did this in your life? Like, they would bring up stuff that we talked about in group therapy. They would make you feel awful in order to give in and obey to them. Crying was not acceptable. Feeling any emotion actually at all was unacceptable. They wanted you to be almost like a robot and not feel anything or express anything other than a fake smile. And that stuck with me for a very long time. We're not even allowed to have our phones in the house. I mean, our parents had them. It makes me feel sick to my stomach thinking that girls are still being sent there, and they would pay teachers to come to the house and teach us. And then we had like an online platform, and it definitely, I feel like, put a lot of girls behind because it wasn't like normal school at all. Owner of the program was forcing teachers to give students consequences throughout the day, and a lot of the teachers quit after that. This experience, it changed me in a way that was not positive. Honestly, it made me think that I was a terrible person and that I was a terrible friend and that I ruined my parents' lives. I mean, because that's what they made me feel. And there was one instance in particular that is what made me realize I need to put on a fake face and I need to just listen to everything they're saying and put on this smile. During a group therapy session, they bring everybody from the houses, they bring all of the staff, all of the therapist, the owner, and they're all sitting in like a half circle almost. And then they had me sit down in front of everyone, and I was like, oh, like what's happening? And I was joking around about it. I was like, why is everybody here like for me or whatever? And they were like, no, this is serious. Like, we're giving you a hot seat. And they gave me a notepad and a pen. You can't say anything. You're going to sit here, and every single person in this room is going to go around and tell you what they don't like about you, what they think that you should change, and why they don't want to be around you.
Nothing positive. Have y'all heard anything that has been done positive in this whole entire story? Everything that we're hearing and we're going to continue to hear was based on negativity. It's so sad. And when they get out of these places, they're messed up. They're mentally messed up.
Not say anything back. They even made my best friend in the house say something. She was crying and was like, I don't want to say anything. And they just kept yelling at her, and they were like, if you don't say something, you're going to be the one in trouble. They made me write down what she had said with her name next to it so that I knew it came from her. Afterwards, when it was all done, they made me sit in my room. They shut the door, and they were like, we want you to read this over, and until it really sinks in, until you understand that all of this is true. And in that moment, I was like, okay, I just need to turn it off. I need to start listening. I'm going to put on a fake face. I'm going to pretend. I'm going to be kind. Because I was really angry. I took it out on a lot of people before that. I let them believe that they had transformed me in order to get out. They wanted to just tear you apart and then build you up into their perfect idea of an obedient teen. They didn't like individuality. They didn't like what made you different. They didn't like, us looking too different from people. It was just not right at all. When I got out, I was a lot worse. I was making very bad decisions when I got back. I mean, I was going back into the exact same environment that I had left. They don't really prepare you for that. I didn't know what to do with everything I had been taught and, everything that had been pushed in my brain. It came out in really bad ways. I got into super toxic relationships because the program taught me to just say yes to everybody and to never say no. It got me in some really dangerous situations. That program taught me that. I didn't feel like myself. I was paranoid all the time, because I was still afraid I was going to get in trouble and that I was going to get points taken away, even though I wasn't even in the program anymore. And I was also afraid I was going to get sent back constantly. One of the sadder, experiences was involving another girl that was there. She tried to run. If you go out the front door, the alarm sound so the staff can hear, and staff aren't very far from us. Like, we can't even go to the bathroom without a staff there. So they saw her run out the door. But she was about to go over the balcony, and she was grabbed, and the staff, the staff member was 3 times bigger than she was, held her down on the ground and pretty much sat on her so that she couldn't breathe. All the way down in the basement, we could hear her screaming and telling the staff to get off of her and not to touch her. And she was hysterical. I just want to get out of here. I was on the plane, and I guess it wasn't too far of a plane ride from Utah to Oregon. In my mind, it felt like forever being on that plane ride. And it was such a surreal moment being like, oh my God, I'm going home. I never have to go back. All this treatment stuff is behind me. And I remember getting off the plane, and the part, honestly, getting off the plane, after getting off the plane and walking into the airport, it's super fuzzy until I get home. And I remember walking into my house, and all the excitement went away as soon as I walked into my house. It was just this rush of fear and PTSD. And even though I had been back to my house on home visits, it wasn't the same because I was going back to treatment and it was just a quick visit. But now I was living here again. I was I had replayed. It was almost, I could see it happening, almost it was people in front of me doing it. I was visualizing being taken, the kidnapping. As soon as I walked in the door, I could see myself being dragged down the stairs, and the visuals walked right through me. And it was a really strange experience. I didn't expect that to happen as soon as I walked into my house. I realized in that moment on my first day with my mom that I was still going to have to put on a show. I was just I thought I was done with this. I thought that I was finally going to be able to be myself again. And I realized I wasn't going to be able to for a long time. And all of this happening on that first day home was so much for me. And I thought that I was never going to be able to escape treatment on that day. I was this is never going to leave me. I moved out of my mom's house very quickly after that. I pushed it away for a long time. And then when I moved out, I think that we really started to grow apart. And I know that she tried, but her way of communicating is different than mine. And hers is a lot more harsh than my ways of communicating. And we just clashed really hard. My dad and I were kind of distant for a while. We got closer in treatment, and then we got more distant when I got out. And I just I kind of pushed myself away from everybody. I think and especially my family. And I think it was just because I was so angry with what they had done and what they had literally paid somebody to do to me. And then when I got out, they thought it was this amazing experience and and even though I hadn't really explained in detail at that point what I had gone through, I was still angry. Like, how could they not have known? How could they think that I was so happy coming out of here? How can they not see how much pain I'm in? And like, I'm like, she's my mom. How can she not see that this smile I'm putting on is so fake? I mean, I could see it in the pictures of me that my smile is so fake. Like, to me, it's so obvious. And so I had a really hard time dealing with the fact that,
good golly, could you imagine the PTSD she was going through? And once again, she had to pretend like everything was hunky-dory, knowing that it was her mother, her parents paid for her to live in pure hell, to be sent to hell and experience all of that. Yeah, Neuro, I agree with you. It's the mother who needs therapy, not the kids. She was taken to a wilderness camp and then to another facility from there. They're not saying where they're located, but it was here in the United States.
she was just so happy-go-lucky about everything that I had just been through and how traumatic it was for me. And I mean, now it's the opposite. I'm very close with my dad, and I'm not very close with my mom. My dad is very understanding of what I've been through, and he's watched every single video on TikTok and continues to watch it. And he wants to help me shut these programs down. And I think it didn't really hit him until he watched my videos. He was like, oh my God. I think there's a lot of other ways that parents can help their kids. I mean, I know a lot of parents don't know how to deal with kids that are really difficult, but I think that the number one thing that they can do is to listen to what their child needs instead of just assuming that treatment is the best option. Because if you just ask a teenager, like, hey, what do you need from me? How can I help you? I feel like that will start a very good conversation and bond with your child, rather than assuming that what the parent thinks is the best option, because most of the time that's not the case.
What the parents think is the best option is not the case. So all the schools that they had looked into previous to Sebastian going missing, and now we have one of two options, according to the stepfather. He's going to come home when he's 18 and be okay, but he's going to need mental help. And we're hearing it firsthand. I want you to pay attention to this next quick story that we're going to listen to, because this girl's passed off to several different schools, and one of them happens to be in the state of Tennessee.
Times at all of these facilities, they're torture centers for children, is what they are. In my last program, they would give us physical consequences, which were insane.
Thanks, Lori.
Hi, my name is Paris. When I went back to my boarding school for the second year that I was there, which was 8th grade, I had started dating a girl in the school who was one of the English teacher's daughters. One day I came to school and my girlfriend just wasn't there. Like, she was gone. A few months later, she died in a car accident. It was devastating. It was the first time anyone I'd ever known that was close to me had passed away. After a couple of weeks of me just really not doing well, they sent me actually first to stay with a teacher, which I didn't know really what was happening. I kept asking. I was like, hey, how long am I going to be at this teacher's place? Because after a few days, I was like, okay, let me try to see if I can go to class. And, they were offering me therapy and stuff. So I was like, okay, let me talk to a counselor. But they wouldn't tell me how long I was going to stay at the teacher's house. I messaged one of my friends and I was like, can you please call my mom? Can you please call my mom and ask her what's happening or when I'm going back to school? Because my mom wasn't even calling me. She was like, yeah, I'll call your mom. And then I go to sleep. Maybe a few hours later in the middle of the night, I wake up and there's two strangers in the room. The room is dark and all they say is, do you want to do this the easy way or the hard way? Do what? What are you talking about? Then next thing you know, I'm being dragged out of my teacher's house and I'm shoved into a van. We're gone.
Once again, two strangers in the middle of the night drag these kids out of their beds and they're gone. Just gone. I mean, we didn't see anybody coming and going until 3 a.m., right? In the backyard with those lights. 2 lights. We're hearing Katie made a stop at a store, a convenience store, on the way home. Was there a handoff there? Go back and think to Texas Roadhouse where Sebastian and Katie are having a conversation. He shakes his head no. No, no, no. And read his lips. He is saying, I can't, I can't, I can't. Was she telling him he was going away with some people that night? Was she telling him he wasn't going back home with her? Is that why he was on high alert walking out to the car? I don't know, guys. But we got to look at all the possibilities.
It was so confusing. They grabbed me and they put me in zip ties, like forward facing. And then I was sitting like this until we got to the airport. They took the ties off to get me through the airport. I've been to 3 separate facilities. The first one was a wilderness camp in North Carolina. The second one was a residential treatment center in Utah. And the third one was a lockdown facility in Tennessee. The people who work in these places are...
Wow, North Carolina, Utah, and Tennessee. A lockdown facility in the state of Tennessee.
Often very towards children. I have been by staff members multiple times at all of these facilities. They're torture centers for children is what they are. They're putting kids in restraint beds. They're locking kids in solitary confinement. I myself was locked in solitary confinement for hours and hours and hours multiple times. The second time I was transported was between program 2 and 3. The facility in Tennessee was like a lockdown facility. So it was similar, but worse in the sense that when the transporters dropped me off, they dropped me off to a locked unit. I was put behind a metal door. It locked behind me. And then I did not come back out for probably a couple of months.
Did y'all hear that? A lockdown facility. A metal door was locked when she first got there, and she didn't come out for months. It's enough to make anybody need mental help when they turn 18 and get released. I know, Cece. I would like to reach out to find out exactly what the names of these facilities are. Yeah, T-Bone, she said Tennessee was the lockdown facility. You're right, little Miss Sharon, they don't just disappear. Adults are knowing where they went to. It's crazy.
Before I was allowed to be outside. When you first get there, you are not allowed to interact with anybody. You are on what's called solo. The reason they tell you that they do it is so that you can like find yourself or whatever, no. The reason they actually do it is because they want to get in your head. They want you to not have anyone that you can talk to. They want you to see this group away from you that's doing everything that you're not allowed to do. They want you to see these kids having fun with each other, even though they're not having fun. They want you to see these kids working and doing the things they're supposed to do, so that later when you get brought to the group, you don't ask any questions. You don't see people in the group talking to each other, gossiping, going, oh, what's happening to me? What's happening to me? You see kids working like animals. You're watching kids your age be abused and tortured and treated horribly for.
Do y'all remember me talking about my friend's grandson? And he was in a facility where a young girl didn't want to take her medicine, and she was taken away. Come lunchtime, they asked, where's she at? She didn't show up for group. Oh, well, she's no longer with us. She passed away. Folks, these are real stories. These are things that are actually happening in these types of facilities. It's scary. It's sad. It's frightening. And to think that Sebastian's stepdad says those words. When he's 18, he'll come home. But he's going to need some mental help. And so that tells us they know the type of place that Sebastian could possibly be in. Or is he just playing mind games with us?
For probably about a week, and then they finally look at you and they go, okay, come on, now it's your turn. And the last thing you're going to do after being alone for a week is complain. You know, like you're going to acclimate. Like it's like a psychological torture thing. I was 13. The youngest person was 11. The eldest was 18. We were given 2 tarps. One was a clear tarp and one was a blue tarp. You could sleep on the ground of the forest with a clear tarp, with the plastic one. And then with the blue tarp, you could take some rocks and you could form an A-frame tent, and you could make some cord using tree bark. And then you could, if you made enough rope, then you could pitch yourself a tent. They didn't help you do that, and they didn't give you a tent. So it was like, here's your tarp, here's your backpack, figure it out. They would keep us so confused that you didn't even know what time of day it was. In all 3 programs that I went to, the therapy is the same. It's group therapy, and you're usually sitting in a big circle. It's attack therapy. Basically what they do is they say to you, hey, Paris, today we noticed that you did this thing. This thing is really bad. So
once again, another story of a group telling all the bad that you did. All the bad that you did. Nothing good. Hey, you did good while you were out there for your week alone, not talking to anybody or having any communication. You made it through that. Good job. Let's help you build on yourself. No, it's not what we're hearing. Completely the opposite. Let's tear you down some more so you can know just how crappy you really are. It's gross.
Everyone in the circle, why don't we go around and tell Paris exactly why this thing she did was so bad and why it makes her such a bad, sick, unhealthy person? What's the punishment that Paris deserves then? One of their favorites was to do a halt, which was stand and stare at a tree and stand completely still, do like a 10-minute halt. So you have to stand there completely still and you stare at the tree. And if you move in any way, if you cough, if your eyes move, if you scratch, if you change anything, start over. You'll stand there for 8 hours. You'll get right to the end, like 1 second away, and they'll go, no, she moved. I saw her move. Start over. In my last program, they would give us physical consequences, which were insane. There was this girl at my last program, they made her be on touch with a wheelbarrow of sand. Just hundreds of pounds, full wheelbarrow of sand. And every time she would do something right, they would take a small cup out and they would pour it out. But then every time she did something bad, they would take sand and they would just put it in this wheelbarrow. And for months, she had to walk around with this wheelbarrow of sand. Just crazy little things like that. It was a rule that you had to have your shirt tucked in, and my shirt was untucked. So I stood up to untuck my shirt, but it was also a rule that we weren't allowed to stand up. So because I stood up, they knocked me to the ground and then me up with a, and then next thing you know, I'm in a restraint bed net. They just leave you there. Like, they just leave you there drooling just however long they want to. I know for sure they weren't supposed to like slap us and hit us and stuff, but they did. There was a lot of sex at night from the staff members. The program director of my last program, I was on the ground and I was refusing to move because they were putting us on work duty again. It was like chopping wood for hours and hours and hours, and I wasn't feeling well and I didn't want to do it. So I was like sitting on the ground and I didn't want to move. And he came up to me and he grabbed me by my hair and like pulled my head back, like just like pulled it back because I wouldn't look at him. I was looking at the ground, and he like made me look into his eyes, and he was like, "Are you gonna go now?" And then he like pushed me like down onto the ground. Another staff member saw it happen, and they were a newer staff member who was like not used to seeing this stuff, and they actually reported it. They reported to someone, and someone came to talk to me, and I thought they were there to help me. But so I told them everything. I was like, we're being abused, like we're being touched, like we're being hurt, like we're being treated so horribly. And then I found out that person worked for the program. They told the program director that I had said all of these lies. Somehow they called my mother and they convinced my mother that I needed to apologize. And so next thing you know, I'm like sitting with my therapist and with the program director, and my mother's on the phone, and they're forcing me to say sorry to this man. It was insane. In Wilderness,
Saying sorry to your abuser. At what time is that okay to do? At what time is that ever going to help someone? Remember the girl before this one? These places are not meant to build people up. They're meant to tear them down.
you could not shower. I did not shower for 97 days. That's how long I was at Wilderness. And it took days and days and days and days to get the dirt off of my body. I had built up permadirt. That's what we called it. We called it permadirt. I had built up permadirt on my fingers, on my hands, the calloused skin. It took several weeks of exfoliating to not look like I worked in a coal mine. There were lots of sick kids there that weren't getting medical attention. It was awful in that sense. It was incredibly difficult when I first got out, because my family didn't send me immediately back to boarding school. They did something much worse. They sent me actually immediately to France, to school in France, at a place that I didn't know anyone. Literally 2 days after getting out of the last facility, I'm 16 years old and I'm on a plane to Paris. When I got there, I saw my mother for 2 days, and then she dropped me off with these people. I wound up in southern France for a few months, and then I wound up in South Africa in school there for about 6 months, also with kids that I didn't know, that I didn't know anyone, and I didn't know what the heck was going on. And then finally back to my performing arts boarding school. And once I was back in that school, it was just, perform. Sorry, when I got back to my regular school when I was 16, I started seeing a therapist. That helped a little bit, but to be honest, the thing that kind of helped the most was finally getting the validation of other people coming forward and sharing their experiences, because it finally made me realize that finally people will believe me. Because
my goodness, finally people will believe her. Isn't that sad? The mental games that are played with these kids while they're in these facilities for years at a time, for months at a time, stays with these kids because they've heard nothing positive about themselves for all these years. It's horribly sickening, and yet these 3 stories that we've been listening to here were all taken away in the middle of the night, put on a plane, and sent somewhere. And when they got out at the age of 18, they were mentally scarred. The words of Mr. Chris Proudfoot just resonates with every story we've listened to.
All of this stuff is so crazy that, you know, when this was happening to me, the first program I went into, it was in 2008. In 2008, no one was really talking online in the way they are now about their experiences. No one believed me. Like, no one, everyone thought I was crazy. If I tried to talk about this stuff when I was first getting out, people thought I was making it up. Even therapists. That changed my brain completely from being someone who felt victimized by this industry to someone who suddenly felt like maybe I could destroy it. Yeah.
All 3 of their goals has been to destroy these places. These places need to be called out for what they are. Donna, I agree. I went through several of them, and I chose these 3 because of their stories and their impacts. But I hadn't got to hear yet a story from a male. But I'm going to continue to listen to them now that I'm feeling better. And should I listen to one that a male does, I'll definitely play it for all of us to hear. They seem to be doing well. Yeah, Krista, I know. And I hate to do these things because I don't want to hurt Seth. But we have to be able to think outside the box to help Sebastian. And when you hear the words that we heard, and you hear these stories, he hits a little close to the words that were said by Chris Proudfoot.
In my experience, what they set me up with the one time that they injected me was how, which I don't know exactly what, I'm not a doctor, but that was the name of the medication. How I actually had an adverse reaction to it. It caused me to start cogwheeling, which is like when your head starts moving without, like you're not trying to move, but your body's moving. And it got so severe that my head kept moving back. Like I was like all the way like this, and my head was trying to as if my head was trying to touch my feet. It was the scariest thing in the entire world. So when that happened to me, they had to shut me up with more medication. They had to give me something called to like reverse the reaction from the house. I saw kids in states that no kid should be left in due to their medication. I've seen kids not able to sit up. I've seen kids just kind of like, you know, like nodding out. I guess I just want to say mostly to the young kids that are stuck in these facilities now, I want these kids to understand that there are adults who see you, like who understand what you are going through, who will believe you and will fight for you. When you're stuck in these situations, you're basically programmed to believe that nobody is there for you and no one will believe you and no one will understand you. So really the one thing I want to say is to the young kids out there who are struggling with this stuff, who are either in and out of these programs right now or have been in one of these programs recently and you're still a kid and you don't know what's happening and you can't figure it out, like we will fight for you, like is what I want to say.
There we go, friends. You know, it's very disturbing. As disturbing as you can get after hearing those words we heard. And I have reached out to try to find where some of these locations are at. I have reached out to the channel and try to make some kind of contact so we can know, so that we can do whatever we can do to get Sebastian's picture and missing poster to them. That's our number one goal, always. I want to share one more thing with you. This is what Holly had told us about earlier to look at, and this is the Elon School. And I just pulled it up on Wikipedia real quick. Let's see here. Elon School was an abusive behavior modification program and therapeutic boarding school located in Portland, Maine. It was a full member of the National Association of Therapeutic Schools and Programs, was considered to be a part of the troubled teen industries. It shut down close to April 1st, 2011, following multiple reports of abuse, many from former students, dating back to the opening of 1970. It was located on 33-acre campus in South Poland. It was formerly a hunting lodge. There were also other campuses, such as the one on 424 Maple Crest Road in Parsonsville, which was formerly a hotel and hospital before it was bought by Elon in 1975. It was known to have some of the worst abuse in school's history and was put out of use sometime in 1980s. The school acquired notoriety during the 1990s and early 2000s when former classmates of Michael Skakel, who had attended the 1970s, testified against him at his trial for a murder that had occurred about 2 years before he had enrolled. The school was also the subject of persistent allegations of abuse in its behavior modification background. Guys, these places are out there. They are out there. I know this was a hard subject to listen to today. It was very disturbing to even consider listening to. But I wanted to play it and I wanted y'all to hear it because the words we hear, the two options that are out there is he's laying in the woods somewhere unalived. Because his theory, he's told us, is that he was walking on the side of the road, although no cameras ever caught him, but he was walking on the side of the road, got hit by a car, and was knocked over into the woods. Or he will come home when he's 18, but he will be okay, but need mental help. It's exactly the stories we heard today. And Blue Eyes is 100% correct. If you look up any of the ARC facilities and read the reviews, they're disturbing. Pitter Patter says, hello, this happened to Paris Hilton. There's a documentary on this. Yes, yes. Daniel says, we have places here in Canada. It's scary. They're everywhere. They're not good. They're not to help. They're there to tear down and to destroy people. And that is not something that will be a positive influence on anyone's life that has to go through and experience it. Yes, Lisa, you're 100%. It is hard to listen to, but we must be aware of what is happening to these children. Exactly. And I know I've said it 100 times already, but when
you're talking about a missing child, and his stepfather says one of the two possibilities is he'll come home when he's 18, and that's been mentioned several times, but he'll need mental help. Guys, in 2 days it'll be Christmas, and Sebastian will not be home. Wherever Sebastian is, I ask that you all will just please. Krista, I believe several of them are starting to receive criminal records at different facilities. But wherever y'all are at, come Christmas morning, Christmas Day, send up a prayer that wherever Sebastian is, that he knows he's loved. JH, I have no idea how these places are able to exist. They stay under the radar. And people that are doing all the things in there are in such high power in those facilities. And outside of those facilities, people don't believe these kids. They're troubled kids. Their parents pay for them to be sent to these places. I told y'all about the story of my friend's grandson. You know, Cindy, I have heard several places that are affiliated with some of these churches. I really have. And it's scary to think churches are behind some of this. Wannabe sleuthin'. Y'all, we have a thank you, Jesus. Wannabe sleuthin' says, by the way, Lolly, I got my test results today. Benign. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you, girl. Oh my gosh, that makes my heart happy. I have been praying. Oh, that is some good Merry Christmas news there. DJ, that's what I feel. Daniel says, yes, that's a little sus. So CP knows where Sebastian is, in my opinion, if he's saying that. Yeah, not all churches. Yeah. It is very sad, Keely. And I'm telling you, they are. Miss Kathy says a lot of these facilities are government and state funded. But I think the more that their stories, these girls' stories, these kids, these adults that are now adults because they stay till they're 18. Y'all, this young man that I told y'all about was 16. He was supposed to be there till he was 18. After our story about the Ark, Pennsylvania, that young man was home within 2 days. People in suits started showing up. The phones were ringing. 9 kids were released from that facility. If we've never done anything good to this date, if we had a tiny little bit to do with those 9 kids and their parents hearing this story or something, I don't know how it all played out. But friends, the more we talk about it, the more we can get it out there. The more we can expose it, because that's what we need to do 100% every day that we can. Excuse me, my voice is about to crash. Let's see here.
Okay, Kelly, I just opened your email, but it didn't have anything to it. Um, okay, there was nothing attached, Kelly. I want, let me read something to you real quick on, oh goodness. Hold on, I got to get back to the link. I just lost it. There is a article. NBC News is sharing the latest tech some porch pirates are using and how you can potentially prevent thefts. I'm going to share this link for anybody that has Facebook. I'm going to share it so that you can go and read this for yourselves and listen to this article here and what they're saying, because some porch pirates, people that come up on your porches and steal your mail ordered Christmas gifts and stuff. You know, for a long time we were watching videos, but these porch pirates are starting to use Wi-Fi jammers. It's crazy. It's crazy. Wi-Fi jammers. Police say the use of Wi-Fi jammers is growing, ramping up just as the holiday season peaks, with criminals targeting packages left on the door. They just and they use a Wi-Fi jammer just to block the signal for them to be there. First thing you can get is a hardwired system that is not dependent on Wi-Fi. Make sure if you have something to protect your home and look, you know, watch all the activity out there. Make sure you got it hardwired in, guys. Because people who know how to use those Wi-Fi jammers, those camera jammers, all the things, there might be something they want to do in the middle of the night and not get caught. And they activate these Wi-Fi jammers. Guys, I want to thank you all for being here today. Oh, lovable Mama Bear, thank you. Just an FYI, real quick, tomorrow, Christmas Eve, tomorrow night, and Christmas Day, midday, we're going to be doing a live. Anybody that doesn't have anything going on wants to come and join us, y'all come on. Tomorrow we're going to do some Christmas trivia, just having some fun time. And then Christmas Day, we'll just hang out, chat, do some fun stuff. I know, guys, I have my AC on too. I turned mine on today. It is going to be so hot for Christmas. It's going to be 78 here tomorrow. It's crazy. We'll be wearing short sleeves for Christmas. But if y'all don't come back over the next couple of days and y'all are spending time with family, I want to ask each and every one of y'all to do one thing. Soak up every memory that's being made. Enjoy every minute of the chaos. All the exhaustion it takes to get there to that moment. Sit back and realize it was all worth it. You know, Christmas
is about giving, about receiving. It's a time for family and friends to gather. But me and my family believe the main reason for Christmas is to celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ. And I'm not going to sit here and preach to y'all. But I'll be here with you guys as I want to be here for anyone who doesn't have family, friends, or anything. And if y'all can join us, we would love to have each and every one of you. Oh, Retha, you're so sweet. Thank you. Now, guys, before we take off, there was a few that sent me some videos. And Miss Kelly's sending me her video right now, but I may have to play it tomorrow. My voice is about to go. I can feel it. But I put together everything that I had sent to me. And I'm going to play this video for all of you. And as soon as it's through, I'll play our outro and let you all get on with your holiday. I know it's a busy time. But if I don't see you guys over the next few days, love and hugs to all of you. Merry Christmas. Like I say, guys, sit back, soak it all up, enjoy every minute of it. Because none of us are promised tomorrow. So make it the very best that you can make it be. And here we go. I love you guys.
The snow's piled high on the cedar fence. Lanterns glow through the frosted lens. The kids are giggling, their hands full of string, hanging up ornaments, watching them swing. In the kitchen, Mama hums a sweet old tune, while Daddy's boots stomp to the rhythm of the room. Merry Christmas, Lollipop family. Candy cane smiles and a star on the tree. The love so sweet, it's all we need. Merry Christmas, Lollipop family. Grandpa's telling tales of Christmas past, about paper dolls and sleds that went too fast. Grandma's baking pies with cinnamon spice, says every pinch of love makes the taste just right. The fire pops and the stockings sway, hearts growing warmer every holiday. Merry Christmas, Lollipop family. Candy cane smiles and a star on the tree. The love so sweet, it's all we need. Merry Christmas, Lollipop family. Underneath the mistletoe, there's magic in the air. Even the old barn cat curls up without a care. The world feels small when we're gathered this way, holding tight to the joy of Christmas Day. Merry Christmas, Lollipop family. smiles and a star on the tree. The love so sweet, it's all we need. Merry Christmas, Lollipop family.
Hey guys, real quick before we end it out for good, I just got a reminder about the t-shirts. I know we've lost several people, but I want you all to know back in November when we talked about doing a scholarship in honor for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. This year will be his junior class. Next year will be his senior class. These next 2 years, we want to do a scholarship in honor of Sebastian in his name for someone with special needs to help them. His father loved the idea. We are working and we will have t-shirts that we will sell with his father's blessing, and all but just a few dollars that's going to be charged to us for making them. The whole rest of the profit will go towards the scholarship fund. We'll have those starting after the first of the year. And I want you to know it will have Sebastian's picture on it. It will have the number to call if he's seen. And on the back, it will say hashtag Sebastian's Army. So I want y'all to know that his father has given us his blessing back in November. We've been working to get this all in order. And Katie can do it when he comes home. But until then, we're going to do it. So everybody be ready for that. Yeah. We told him thank you. That was so generous of him to allow us to do that. But it was not something that was ever going to be done to overstepping. So, what would be scary, lovable Mama Bear? I'm glad y'all liked the idea. I just wanted to share it because y'all were talking about t-shirts. We're in the process of getting all of the details worked out, and right after the first of the year, then we're going to show them and we're going to put it out there. And we want hashtag Sebastian's Army on the back because we are his army. We're here for him. So thank you all for being here. Thanks for listening. I love you guys so much. And I'll be back tomorrow, guys. If y'all can join us, come join us. We're going to do some Christmas trivia. I love you all. If I don't see you, Merry Christmas. I love you guys. We'll see y'all soon. Love and hugs.
Born and raised in the Lone Star Land, with boots on my feet and dreams in my hand. A little sassy but a whole lot of grace. You'll see that fire when you look in my face. I'm a Texas girl with a heart so wide, family and friends always by my side. From the crack of dawn to the stars at night, I keep it real, keep my soul burning bright. Barbecue smoke, Friday night lights, cheering for the Astros under Texas skies. A little bit stubborn, a whole lot of charm. This big old heart will keep you warm. I'm a Texas girl with a heart so wide, family and friends always by my side. From the crack of dawn to the stars at night, I keep it real, keep my soul burning bright. Barbecue smoke, Friday night lights, cheering for the Astros under Texas skies. A little bit stubborn, a whole lot of charm. This big old heart will keep you warm. I'm a Texas girl with a heart so wide, family and friends always by my side. From the crack of dawn to the stars at night, I keep it real, keep my soul burning bright. From the bluebonnet fields to the city streets, every step I take feels like home to me. With a little sass and a lot of pride, this Texas girl's got nothing to hide. I'm a Texas girl with a heart so wide, family and friends always by my side. From the crack of dawn to the stars at night, I keep it real, keep my soul burning bright.